What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing some battles in the Willpower Cup running Pheromosa, which of course got buffed last season with Bug Bite becoming a then Dragon Breath clone, which means this Pokemon deals absurd damage. Now in the Open Great League, this Pokemon has virtually no play at all, as Bug is the most resisted typing in the game, but in this meta, 2 of the 3 eligible typings are weak to Bug. Now unfortunately, to make this Pokemon work, I had to pair it with the 2 best Pokemon, Mandibuzz and Claydol. Wait, no, hold up a second. I didn't do that. Turns out you can showcase a Glass Cannon Pokemon without running the 2 most boring, bulky Pokemon in the meta. So I'm running a double Bug Bite backline with Lucario in the lead. And I have to say, this team gets completely annihilated by Annihilate, which is ranked very highly. But in the previous few times I've played in this meta, I'd seen it maybe once or twice every 2 or 3 sets. So I didn't think it'd be much of an issue. Well, apparently Annihilate is all the rage at the moment. Apologize for all these puns. What am I doing? I saw it quite a lot, but outside of the battles up against Annihilate, this team did actually perform very well, and the Bug Bite damage, when not double resisted, was often just way too oppressive for my opponents. So with that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. What has been your favorite anti-meta Pokemon to use for the Willpower Cup? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Let's go into the first battle, leading Lucario into Shadow Drapion. Now, I do want to note, I'm running Bullet Punch for most of these battles, but I did start running Force Palm initially, and you're going to see those battles at the end of this video, but I did find a few matchups where Bullet Punch would have been a lot better for me, specifically up against Pokemon like the Galarian Rapidash or the Hatterene, and as well a few Pokemon that do, of course, resist Force Palm. But anyways, we're going to shield the Aquatail here. This is a great matchup for me, but they might be weak to Lucario in the back, so I'm going to swap out. Also, I'm running an ABB style team. I'm running low kicks here to bait out Pokemon like the Shadow Murkrow, where of course Pheromosa is going to take double super effective damage from those pecks and will get absolutely torn apart, so I needed to bait it out. We're now going to come in with Lucario, going to shield up the Drill Peck and then commit to a Bullet Punch farm down, just barely getting it, but my Switch Clock is up. We come in with Pheromosa, we get the Bug Bite farm down, and they have a second Dark and Flying type, but luckily for me, it's not Mandibuzz. It's going to be Galarian Moltres, and Close Combat gets that one shot, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's top on there into next battle. You can see Pawniard in the lead, so a great lead matchup, despite the fact that I do have Bullet Punch as the fast move. They swap once again into Shadow Murkrow, and you might be wondering, why don't I have a really good answer to Flying type Pokemon when my backline is weak to Flying types? Well, Lucario actually does do fairly well into these Flying types. We do get very low, however. At this point, I'm going to wait to see what they do. They come in with a Claydol, so I'm swapping out straight away into low kicks. Unfortunately, just barely getting outpaced to that charge move, but Rock Tomb does not get the KO. I can fire off the X's, so they do swap back into Pawniard. Doesn't really matter to me. That is going to do some nice chip damage. We can come back in with Lucario, and we do have very close to back-to-back charge moves already. Going to farm up to back-to-back Aura Spheres. First one should be grabbing the first shield from the opponent, and they're likely going to double shield at this point, but it doesn't really matter. Pheromosa is going to come in. We can shield once, and we can go for a full Bug Bite farm down. Now, we do resist the charge moves, but Pheromosa is incredibly glassy. Might as well just shield there. These Bug Bites absolutely shredding through Claydol. We come out with a Close Combat loaded. We did not need to throw here, but Close Combat easily gets the one shot there, and I'm able to take that game. And actually, that trainer was on my friends list, so GG's to that trainer. Into the next battle, you're going to see another Pawniard in the lead. So, great lead once again. They say swap into a Shadow Sableye. Sableye was another reason as to why I ran Bullet Punch rather than Force Palm, because, of course, it does actually give Lucario a pretty good matchup into Sableye. But anyways, here, I actually didn't really want to tank a foul play. I realized it is resisted damage. I could tank it, and potentially that could have allowed me to get to back-to-back X-Scissors up against the Pawniard coming back in. But either way, we are boosted. X-Scissor is going to force a shield from the opponent, and now we can come back in with Lucario. So the opponent is going to stay in with Pawniard initially, then swap into Murkrow, and things are looking fine for me. We can go straight for a Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch is going to grab the final shield. The opponent committing to a farm down, but I can actually snipe with the Pheromosa. You can see a single peck did that much damage to our Pheromosa, but Night Slash doesn't quite get the KO there. Doesn't really make a difference. We've got the Aura Sphere loaded. We can throw it straight away. Aura Sphere, of course, gonna get the KO up against the Pawniard, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's up in there into next battle. I see Claydol in the lead. So, of course, not a great lead matchup for me. Going to be safe swapping into low kicks, and I'm met with a Primate. So, not the best matchup for me. They have to full send a close combat here, and they actually do exactly that. So, that is not ideal for me. At this point, I'm thinking maybe Lucario can come in and go for a full bullet punch farm down. But either way, I think I'm just going to sacrifice Lucario as it has no play up against the Claydol and trust in my Pheromosa with 2 shields to sweep this game. Now, they actually come in with more Peko, and look at that bug bite damage, but they can now go for a Psychic Fangs, debuff my defense, and whilst I am going to resist the Mud Slap damage from Claydol, we're taking a lot of damage, so I'm going to go straight for lunge. I'm not even throwing on perfect timing. I want to debuff their attack as soon as I possibly can there, and here they're still going to reach a Rock Tomb. Unfortunately, Rock Tomb is going to debuff my attack. Of course, I can still go for that Bug Bite farm down. I need 2 Bug Bites to get the farm down, but we only get 1 through there, and as a result, we end up losing that game. That is a really frustrating, inconsistent game mechanic there, which I feel like I'm the only one who ever complains about it. But with 1-turn fast moves, quite often only one of them will go through when you're going up against like a 2-turn fast move at the end game. But anyways, into the next battle. I can't even remember what we saw there in the lead, but the opponent's going to come in with a Mana Buzz. We go for Thunder Punch, then we actually swap out. I think it was a Murkrow in the lead there, so interesting ABA double dark flying team so far. I did just kind of swap out. I don't know why I swapped out. I guess Lucario would have been farmed down otherwise if I stayed in there. But either way, I'm going to fire off the X-Scissor. X-Scissor is going to grab a shield, and we reach another X-Scissor. And this is actually great for me. X-Scissor number 2. I'm going to get the KO there. Their final Pokemon is an Ice Fang Shadow Drapion. We swap into Pheromosa, dealing huge damage with these Bug Bites, but they do overfarm. Octo, of course, gets the KO there. We can come back in with Lucario, but can I put them into 1 Bug Bite farm down range? It's going to be close, but unfortunately, that is definitely not that. And like I just mentioned, Bug Bites, we're only going to get off 1 anyway, so unfortunately, that does not get the KO, so we do lose that game. But GG's up in there into next battle. We're going to see a Poignant in the lead. They say swap into Claydol. I'm actually not really sure why I don't come in with Pheromosa here, because I can come in, shield once, and then commit to a full Bug Bite farm down, whereas with low kicks, because they debuff the attack there, I am unfortunately forced to throw a charge move. I do throw the Trailblaze at the last possible second. You could argue I could have thrown that earlier, then even if they did want to shield, I would have boosted up my attack once again, and I would have been fine. But either way, they come in with the Poignant, and we are actually able to get the farm down there, coming out 1 away from the X-Scissor. X-Scissor is going to grab the shield from the opponent. They do have a Charm Gothitelle. And Pheromosa, whilst we can deal super effective damage with the Bug Bites, look at that Charm damage. I'm going to swap out into Lucario, but those Bug Bites put them into range where I can just safely shield up a Rock Slide. Rock Slide is going to be double resisted and non-step. It doesn't really matter though. We get that Bullet Punch farm down, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's top end there into next battle. I'm going to see Poignant in the lead once again. So, Poignant, of course, just not enjoying these Lucario leads, but we are going to see a Mana Buzz coming in. If they're running double flyers once again, then this could be slightly problematic for me, as Lucario actually doesn't quite win the 1 shield scenario up against Mana Buzz. Back in the day when I used to run close combat on Lucario, you could actually win this matchup just going straight for a close combat, because unfortunately both Thunder Punch and Aura Sphere deal the same amount of damage, whereas close combat actually does do enough damage to win that 1 shield scenario. But anyways, we put them into range where I can just Bug Bite farm down with the low kicks. I then just gotta hope they don't have a second flying type in the back. They come in with the Poignant. We can come in with the Pheromosa. I do resist this, but never mind, I'm going to no-shield this, and we can still reach a charge move. They swap, they catch the charge move, but onto Greninja, and Lunge gets the 1-shot. I don't know why they didn't shield that. That is such a strange decision, but either way, we can come in, get that Bug Bite farm down, and I'm able to take that game. Yes, very confused as to why they did that. But anyways, into next battle, we're going to see Claydol in the lead. We say swap into low kicks, and once again, not looking too good for us, but we can fire off that X-Scissor. And we do want to bait out the Mana Buzz, but once again, if they are running like an ABB double dark and flying backline, then we could be in trouble. But anyways, we're going to no shield here. We're going to come back in with our Lucario. I definitely don't want to shield. Already used that much energy on Lucario, so I might just commit to a very aggressive Bullet Punch farm down. They will put me into range where certainly 1 Mud Slap will get the KO. But I am committing to that farm down, and I just barely get it. Now we swap into Pheromosa. They've got a Shadow Murkrow. 3 pecks is all it takes to take out that Pheromosa. And unfortunately, just completely RPS'd in that battle. Nothing I could do, but GG's to that trainer. Into the next battle, we're going to see Greninja in the lead. They say swap into Mandibuzz, and here you can see this time we don't go for Thunder Punch. As I mentioned in the previous battle, both Thunder Punch and Aura Sphere do the exact same amount of damage into Mandibuzz, so it really doesn't matter which one you throw. So potentially you could go for Aura Sphere as you don't want to give away your secondary charge move, but either way it doesn't really make a difference. Aura Sphere is going to grab a shield, and once again I think I'm happy to let Lucario go down here. Aerial Ace will get the KO. This time they can't really come in with Greninja, so let's see what their final Pokemon is. They come in with a Shadow Ice Fang Drapion, and this is fine with me. We can go straight for X-Scissor. X-Scissor is going to be no-shielded by the opponent, and that's going to be game over. We can just no-shield as well. We actually don't go down there, but Pheromosa, look at that Bug Bite damage. We can shield once, commit to that Bug Bite farm down, and of course Drapion will not be able to withstand the damage from these Bug Bites. We get that farm down, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's to open there into the next battle, and the Nightmare lead. We see Shadow Annihilate in the lead here. We are going to go straight for Thunder Punch, and Thunder Punch, I mean, if it does connect, this could actually do quite well for us, and they do actually let that go through. They barely hang on there, but that's fine with me. We can now come in with low kicks, presumably just going to be a Rage Fist, so I do no shield, and it is. So that's resisted damage. We do take out the Annihilate. A bit of a strange animation there, but unfortunately, this was the even bigger issue with seeing Annihilate, is most of them had a Mandibuzz in the back, so despite the fact that I do actually take out an Annihilate with this team, it doesn't really matter because Pheromosa, we're just going to take so much damage from the air slashes. There's no point in shielding here. Aerial Ace gets the KO, and unfortunately I do lose that game. But GG's up on that into the next battle, a shiny Shadow Drapion in the lead. They say swap into Spiritomb, but I resist the fast move damage here. And once again, both Aura Sphere and Thunder Punch are going to deal the same damage, so it doesn't really matter what I throw. We are going to shield, probably going to be a Rock Tomb bait. It is the Rock Tomb bait, but we can come in with Pheromosa, go for the Bug Bite farm down. I wasn't entirely sure if low kicks could get that full farm down before they reach another Rock Tomb, so we come in with Pheromosa, and Pheromosa just barely able to reach a Lunge. The Lunge is going to get the KO here, but they've got Incineroar, and I'm now just realizing my team is triple weak to fire. This is not looking good, but we can come in with the low kicks. They will outpace me to the Brutal Swing, kind of force the shield here. I'll be honest, I completely forgot that I banked a lot of energy on Lucario, so we bank an X-Scissor, we come in, and we actually reach the Aura Sphere, grabbing the final shield. I don't know who wins CMP, but it turns out it's going to be low kicks, and as a result, X-Scissor gets the KO there, and I'm able to take that game. But of course, had I remembered that I did have a lot of energy on Lucario, I probably would have just thrown the X's straight away. But anyways, into the next battle, we see Lucario, and they're on Force Palm, and that is honestly possibly even worse for us than seeing Annihilate, because once again, they are going to double resist the Bug Bite damage, but also they take us out so quickly, and Bullet Punches are also resisted from our own Lucario. They've got a Peck Murkrow in the back. There's literally nothing we can do there, and so unfortunately, I do just concede the match. But into the next battle, much better lead for me, and once again, they say swap into Murkrow, but this time a non-Shadow, which means, unfortunately, I cannot just shield once and then commit to a full farm down, as they will actually reach another Drill Peck. So here, I do throw one before they do reach that next Drill Peck. Thunder Punch gets the KO there. They come back in with a Sableye, so I'm going to come in with the low kicks. I think I'm happy to just let this move go through. The opponent is not going to bait. They full send a Dazzling Gleam, which does get the KO, of course. But we come in with the Pheromosa, and you're going to see just how insane that Bug Bite damage is. We can shield once. They're not even going to reach 2 charge moves. So Night Slash is going to grab the final shield there. We can now go for Lunge and, of course, debuff the attack from this Shadow Sableye. However, even with a debuff, you're going to see we take a lot of damage from the Shadow Claws. I'm forced to swap out there. The opponent is going to throw at the last second before we reach a charge move, but it doesn't really matter, as Pheromosa just barely able to Bug Bite farm them down, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's up on there into the next battle, another Annihilate in the lead. So once again, not really ideal for me. This is a non-Shadow, so I don't know if this is better or worse for me, because they're just going to get more farm up against Lucario, but they do throw straight away, and the opponent is actually going to undercharge this, which I don't know if that helps me or not. We kind of need the damage from the bullet punches, so I guess that is a good thing. But we come in with the Pheromosa. I'm going to be forced to double shield in this situation. But nope, they swap out into Mandibuzz. And unfortunately, once again, Annihilate paired with Mandibuzz. There's just not a lot I can do with this team. But they fire off the Aerial Ace. We are now going to go and fire off an X-Scissor just before they do reach that next charge move. And actually, we can fire off another X-Scissor, looking to throw just before they do reach it. So one turn before them, X-Scissor is going to grab the shield there from the opponent. They swap back into Annihilate, and I can at least take out the Annihilate once again. But Mandibuzz does have a charge move loaded, so unfortunately, Wasp Lunge does get the KO there. Aerial Ace definitely going to be taking out Pheromosa, and unfortunately, they can just Air Slash, farm down the low kicks, and I do lose that game. But GG's up on there into next battle. I can see Pawniard in the lead once again. So once again, great lead matchup for me. And again, they're safe swapping into Shadow Murkrow. So again, just going to shield once, commit to that full bullet punch, farm down, come out with a ton of loaded energy. Now we're going to wait to see what comes in. They swap into Mandibuzz. Well, I waited to see what came in, but then I swapped out anyways. Don't really understand that. For some reason, the Air Slash animation looks different here. I don't know why it does that sometimes. But anyways, we are going to see the opponent is finally going to throw a charge move. They are one away from back-to-back moves here. So they fire off the Aerial Ace. That's fine with me. We can come back in with Lucario. And we are also 2 away from back-to-back charge moves here. So we go for the Aura Sphere. Aura Sphere is going to be shielded, but the opponent looking to go on good timing ends up allowing me to reach a second Aura Sphere. That gets the KO. The opponent saving their shield for Pawniard, but it's not going to matter as once again, Pheromosa can come in, shield once, and these Bug Bites, they're only neutral damage, but it doesn't matter. We get that farm down, taking out Pawniard, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's up on there into the next battle. I can see Pangoro in the lead. So, not a great matchup for me. I'm going to be safe swapping straight away. They actually swap out at the same time. They're probably predicting I'm going to be on Force Palm, which I'm not. They're going to go straight for a Foul Play as well, which is fine with me. I'm now going to fire off a Trailblaze here, looking to boost up my attack. Trailblaze, going to be no-shielded. Let's see what they want to come in with. They come in with a Claydol. What a strange decision. Whoa, can't even speak there. What a strange decision by the opponent. We go for another Trailblaze. Look at the damage we've dealt with those Bug Bites. At this point, we just come in, we sacrifice Lucario. Once again, we recognize 2 shields, and a Pheromosa is the win condition. The opponent comes back in with Pangoro. We are resisting the fast move damage. I can just safely double shield if they do reach back-to-back charge moves. Doesn't really matter here. The opponent recognizing they can't take out Pheromosa, so they just concede the match. So, GG's up on there into the next battle. I can see a Shadow Metang in the lead. And once again, a safe swap into Mandibuzz, which is fine with me. Now, I'm not going to throw straight away. The opponent does end up throwing on poor timing there. And now we can go for one bullet punch, fire off the Aura Sphere. Aura Sphere is going to be no shielded by the opponent. This is definitely where I wish I was running close combat. But either way, doesn't really matter too much. We can fire off a second charge move. And I'm actually happy to let it go down. Then I'm going to come back in with that Shadow Metang. We can go straight for Aura Sphere once again. Of course, we are double resisting Fury Cutter damage. At this point, I'm definitely going to have to no shield here, as the opponent is going to fire off the Side Shock. I think I'm going to come in with the Pheromosa, then look to swap out and try and catch a Side Shock into low kicks. That was slightly delayed there, but it is a Side Shock catch. The opponent is going to stay in with that Metang, and I can reach a charge move, but maybe not the best situation for me, as now the opponent can come in with a Peck Shadow Murkrow. We've seen this already. 3 Pecks takes out the Pheromosa, and unfortunately I do lose that game. But GG's up in there into the next battle. I can see a Drapion in the lead once again. This time they are running Poison Sting, and this is one of the earlier battles where I am running Force Palm on Lucario. So they fire off the Alcatel, fire with me. I'm going to go for one more Force Palm, fire off the Aura Sphere. Aura Sphere doesn't quite get the KO, which is even better for me as we get the farm down, but they come in with Galarian Rapidash. So of course, up against a Bullet Punch Lucario, Rapidash can't really do much, and typically they are on Body Slam and Mega Horn, which are both resisted or double resisted by Lucario. So actually a pretty good matchup for Lucario on Bullet Punch, but a pretty bad matchup if you are on Force Palm. Anyways, they fire off the Body Slam here. They're in 1 Bug Bite farm down range, so I should be able to snipe them with my Pheromosa. But no, they get damage registration error, which means Body Slam, you're going to see, does insane damage there. They come in with Mandibuzz, but they're on Snarl, and we do have a slither of hope here. But I kind of need to land a charge move with my Lucario. Unfortunately, they will get to back-to-back charge moves here. Oh, sorry, as we get to back-to-back, they get to their second charge move, but they no shield, and that is huge for me. Of course, they're on Snarl. Snarl is resisted by Pheromosa. Pheromosa comes in, and we get that Bug Bite farm down. They don't get damage registration error this time around, and as a result, we take that game. So, GG swap in there into the next battle, and Sableye in the lead. So, Force Palm on Lucario means we have to swap out there. We swap into low kicks. We can fire off that X-Scissor. X-Scissor does decent damage there. Am I going to shield this? I am going to shield the X-Scissor and then commit to a farm down. And let's see, the opponent come in with a Rapidash. So once again, if we had Bullet Punch on Lucario, we will be looking very nice right now. We fire off the X-Scissor. They do get the farm down. I'm going to come in with Lucario, basically just force their energy here, as the opponent is going to farm up a ton of energy. The opponent is actually going to full send a Mega Horn, which is double resisted. Definitely not the right play there. They swap back into Sableye. I fire off the Thunder Punch, and honestly, I was waiting for them to throw, but the opponent committing to a full farm down. That is definitely the smart play here. We fire off Thunder Punch. We swap into Pheromosa, but unfortunately, they've got back-to-back charge moves. I shield the first. The opponent base with a foul play, and this now is enough energy for a Power Gem or a Dazzling Gleam. That gets the KO there, and unfortunately, I do lose that game. But GG's opponent into the final battle of this video, leading into Shadow Murkrow, and you can see these Force Palms are absolutely shredding through their HP. They also throw on poor timing, so we can go for one more Force Palm, and we will get the full farm down. Once again, coming out with a lot of energy, they come in with Ice Fang Shadow Drapion. I did hesitate there by a single turn, which is why I end up throwing on what would typically be alignment there, but of course, because I hesitated, waiting to see what came in there, it was actually on good time. But anyways, we're going to come in with low kicks. I am just going to no shield here, as the opponent going to fire off the Aqua Tail. They need to throw another Aqua Tail to get the KO, but that's fine with me. Surely at this point, Pheromosa is going to be looking good up against their backline. So we will be coming in with that Pheromosa. The opponent is going to swap out straight away, and once again, they've got Ponyard in the back. They can fire off a charge move. Doesn't really matter. And this time, Lucario is on Force Palm, so I might as well just swap out, get that snipe with the Force Palm damage, so the opponent just concedes the match. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. Now, if you want to take your support to the next level, you can become a channel member with perks including early access to new videos, shoutouts at the end of each video, custom loyalty badges, and custom emojis to use in the comments of every video. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has become a channel member already. Your support is greatly appreciated. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.